For 300,000 years, the human brain operated under a single, violent, and uncompromising mandate: do not die. Every single heartbeat was a calculated gamble against extinction. The sudden rustle in the tall grass was not wind, it was a predator waiting to tear your throat open. The sudden drop in temperature was not a minor inconvenience, it was a lethal winter that could freeze your blood before dawn. The silhouette of a stranger on the bleak, empty horizon was not a potential networking opportunity, it was an executioner. Our primary threat detection system, the amygdala, was forged in the merciless fires of physical hostility. It kept our ancestors alive because it assumed the absolute worst, always. It was optimized for terror because the paranoid survived and the relaxed were eaten. But then we did something evolutionary unprecedented. We built a cage. Over centuries of rapid mechanical progress, we paved over the unforgiving wilderness. We hunted the apex predators to near extinction. We built insulated, highly automated, climate-controlled fortresses of glass and steel. We automated our basic survival needs down to a simple, effortless tap on a glowing glass screen. We achieved exactly what our ancestors starved, bled, and prayed for: absolute, sterile, physical safety. But evolution does not operate on our schedule. The human brain does not care about our modern comfort. The ancient amygdala did not shut down when the wolves were wiped out. It did not go quiet when we conquered the elements. It simply sat in its hyper-comfortable cage, starving for a threat. And a starved predator will eventually eat anything. When a biological machine evolved for high-stakes survival is placed in an environment of zero friction, it does not find peace, it misfires. Left with no real physical enemies, the brain begins to pathologize the mundane. It takes minor, trivial inconveniences and inflates them into massive, existential crises. The threshold of what we perceive as danger has dropped to near zero. When you eliminate actual mortal threats, the brain simply recalibrates its definition of threat. A delayed train, a slow internet connection, or an email from a supervisor is processed by the Paleolithic brain with the exact same biochemical panic as a predator crouching in the dark. We did not cure the panic. We just ran out of real monsters. So our brains began to manufacture them. Enter the modern digital Colosseum, a massive, global, algorithmic apparatus specifically engineered to exploit this biological vulnerability for profit. In a world devoid of actual physical battlefields, highly protected, well-fed individuals have taken their primal evolutionary hunger for warfare and dragged it online. We call it recreational outrage. Every single morning, millions of people wake up in climate-controlled bedrooms, wrap themselves in soft linens, and immediately open their digital feeds, desperately searching for a dragon to slay. We split into aggressive tribes over the most trivial disputes. We transform simple linguistic errors into acts of systemic violence. We hunt down absolute strangers for anxious, unearthed mistakes, launching digital public executions under the self-righteous banner of moral purity. Make no mistake, this is not a search for justice. This is simulated warfare. It is the Paleolithic drive to hunt, capture, and destroy, operating inside a sterile, digital ecosystem. It is the desperate, pathetic cry of a domesticated animal trying to feel the long-lost thrill of the chase. We participate in internet cancel culture and manufactured drama because it satisfies an ancient, buried need. It provides the cheap, synthetic dopamine rush of combat without the terrifying risk of physical bleeding. The algorithms of social media giants are designed to keep us in a perpetual state of hypervigilance, feeding our starving amygdalas a steady diet of artificial enemies. By inventing an enemy online, we get to feel like heroes. We get to pretend we are fighting for our survival, all while sitting in an ergonomically designed chair, drinking clean water, completely insulated from the cold, harsh reality of the physical world. We are playing war because peace has made us lose our minds. This systemic sickness hasn't just ruined our public squares, it has rotted our most intimate human connections. In times of genuine objective hardship, human relationships were survival alliances. You desperately needed your tribe. You needed your partner, your family, your neighbor. Love was not a casual luxury, it was a biological shield against a cold and hostile world. You overlooked flaws, accepted friction, and forgave mistakes because mutual survival demanded absolute cohesion. If you isolated yourself, you died. But in a hyper-comfortable, consumer-driven empire, we have treated human connection exactly like we treat our commodities. We have developed the shopping cart mentality. Look at the modern dating landscape. We no longer see people as complex, flawed, sacred human beings. We see them as inventory. We swipe, we filter, we sort, we catalog. He is 2 inches too short. She has the wrong political stance. They did not respond within our designated, arbitrary, and demanding time frame. Discard. Next, return to sender. We treat human souls like cheap plastic goods from an online warehouse. The very moment a partner presents the natural, healthy friction of human existence, we put them back on the shelf and order a replacement. We have been brainwashed by infinite choice, convinced that the perfect, frictionless human being is just one more swipe away. But a relationship without friction is a myth. By seeking a partner with zero flaws, we are seeking a ghost. We have commodified connection to such an extreme degree that we are utterly alone. We have traded the deep, messy, life-saving alliances of our ancestors for a cold, transactional digital catalog. We are surrounded by billions of options and dying of starvation. To justify our manufactured suffering in a world of absolute physical safety, we had to invent a brand new currency. We call it the Victim Olympics. In previous eras, status was earned through endurance, sacrifice, and the difficult process of overcoming objective, physical hardship. Today, inside the hyper-comfortable bubble, status is earned through the commodification of trauma. We have successfully pathologized ordinary human discomfort. A bad day is immediately labeled a clinical depressive episode. A difficult, challenging conversation is branded as emotional abuse. Standard everyday life hurdles, like paying bills or dealing with a difficult coworker, are elevated to systemic oppression. We compete aggressively to see who is the most fragile, who has the most trauma, who is the most fundamentally broken. We wear our self-diagnosed vulnerabilities like medals of honor, displaying them on our digital profiles to demand unearned authority and social leverage. Why? Because being a victim is the ultimate escape from personal accountability. If you are permanently damaged by an artificial crisis, you never have to face the terrifying, heavy responsibility of building a real life. You never have to ask yourself why, despite having everything, you feel so incredibly empty. We paint ourselves as victims of ghosts because facing our actual true problem, our deep existential boredom, is far too terrifying. It is a psychological shield. It is far easier to blame an invisible systemic oppressor than to admit that we have squandered the peace our ancestors bought with their blood. It is easier to blame a phantom crisis than to admit that our lives are empty because we are too afraid to fill them with real meaning. This is the machine we have built. A system that turns human beings into biological robots, running on a continuous loop of manufactured outrage, transactional isolation, and self-inflicted fragility. But there is a glitch in the apparatus. There is a weapon that can dismantle the entire illusion in a single, quiet heartbeat. It is raw, visceral, uncompromising gratitude. Not the cheap, performative gratitude written in corporate journals or whispered in self-help seminars. No, we are talking about the dark, existential realization of what you actually have. Look at your hands. Look at the solid roof over your head. Breathe in the clean air. You are living in the most comfortable, medically advanced, incredibly safe era in the entire history of human consciousness. Your ancestors bled, starved, and fought wild beasts in the pitch black just so that you could sit in this room and feel bored. They endured unimaginable physical torture so that you could have the luxury of inventing your own suffering. To be ungrateful in this modern world is a profound form of spiritual sickness. Ungratefulness is the engine of fake suffering. The moment you choose to stop and feel the sheer, overwhelming, massive weight of gratitude for your survival, the illusions of your artificial crises shatter. The online outrage looks pathetic. The shopping cart mentality looks like suicide. The victimhood looks like a self-imposed prison. Do not let the system turn you into a commodified product. Break the cycle. Choose to feel the gravity of your existence. Reclaim your soul. Wake up and remember what it means to be human.